Hey guys, what is going on? Welcome to the video. So in this video, I'm going to be talking about a couple big opportunities that I see in the market. One being a smaller cap catalyst play, and then we're going to be going through some oversold plays that I expect a big bounce back at some point next week. Going to go over the plan and the strategy behind that, and just what I expect to happen in this very volatile market right now. Alright, so without further ado, let's take a look at last week's picks, how they performed, and then we'll take a look at this week's picks. Let's get into it. Alright, so first up, last week we talked about PubMatic, ticker symbol PUBM. This is the play with 50% plus short float. Now last week we saw this big volume continue throughout the week, but it did not make its big move yet. I'm personally still holding strong. I added a dip this past week, and I'm still looking for that $45 plus price target. It's also forming a smaller inverse head and shoulders, so I do think we could get a breakout very soon on this one. It's still one of my favorite plays going forward. Next up, last week we talked about Celsius, ticker symbol CELH. Now this play from last week, it's up a couple percent, but it has not hit that price target or filled the gap yet. On this one, I'm still looking for that gap fill up to $70 before taking profits. And then also talked about BurgerFi, ticker symbol BFI. This one did trend down this past week. It is testing the support. I personally added it a little bit this past week, and I am waiting to see if this one does end up holding $10 support before adding any more. And then we talked about Corsair Gaming, ticker symbol CRSR, as that Wall Street bets hype social media play. And on Monday, Corsair pumped like crazy, making a 30% plus move at its highs, and then it ended up dumping. So it essentially pumped and dumped and is back to where it started last week. Nothing has changed on my long-term thesis on this one. I personally trimmed a little bit at $40, added that one back now that it's come down to the low 30s. So I'm back in my full-size position. Nothing's really changed, but it did not hold that short-term pop, which was disappointing. Alright, so now getting into this week's picks, stocks that I think could make a very big move, a very nice move this coming week. First up is ENGlobal Corporation, ticker symbol ENG. So this is a small cap play, a market cap about $92 million. And the main thesis on this one is a couple upcoming catalysts, which we'll talk about in just a second. And it also does have a pretty nice technical setup. Alright, so first up, taking a look at what this company does and what the catalysts are behind this trade. So ENGlobal Corporation provides engineering and automation services, and their services are for renewable energy and hydrogen. They have a process unit facility in Henderson, Texas, and an 80,000 square foot facility in East Houston. So the reason that these locations are important is that there's a ton of headlines right now about electricity failings in Texas and power outages from this heat wave that it's having right now. And believe me, I'm seeing this firsthand. I'm personally located in Texas. My power was out for a day last week. It's hot as shit here, and this very likely continues throughout the summer with these outages. And with ENGlobal being located in Texas, this is going to be a major catalyst for the company. And the CEO has also said that they have a number of upcoming opportunities to deliver innovative renewable solutions ranging in revenue value from $20 million to over $120 million. And once again, this is just a $92 million company. Each of these contracts can be a massive part of just that market cap. So there's a ton of upside if they do end up getting one of these contracts. Some other recent news that we did get last week is they are going to be included in the Russell Index, and this will start being effective after market close on Friday, June 25th. So with this stock going into the Russell Small Cap Index, the reason that this is a catalyst is because these Russell Cap Index funds that follow this index, they have to buy shares of these companies being included. So that, of course, that makes the stock go up. And then when people are investing in the Russell Index itself, they're already indirectly buying those shares of the company. So it's not a huge catalyst. There's not going to be any crazy massive buying pressure, but it is a catalyst nonetheless, and it is going to add some buying pressure. And also when people see this news, it is very positive news being included in the Russell. Alright, so now getting into the technical setup side of this trade. Taking a look at the chart, this stock hit a past high of over $9, hit a past high right at $9.40. Since then it has trended down a little bit, but it did recently find a bottom right at $2 per share. It's bottoming out here and is holding this short-term uptrend, and you could call this one an ascending triangle as well, with short-term resistance being at $3.20, and on the breakout above $3.20, this stock can run very quickly up to that $4 resistance level, and that $4 level is going to be my target price on this trade. And also taking a look at the volume levels during this sell-off, this was a very low volume sell-off when it sold off from highs all the way down to $2. Taking a look at the volume was very minimal. Low volume sell-offs are very weak sell-offs, and stuff like this can rebound very quickly as we see. And then currently, after this reversal has happened, the volume has taken a big jump. As we can see right there, the volume has pretty much multiplied than what it was during that sell-off. And one thing that we always know about volume is volume precedes price action. And as I underlined down at the bottom of the screen, says in a downtrend, the volume should be heavier during down moves and lighter on bounces. We're seeing the absolute opposite right now. The downtrend was very low volume during the sell-off, and after the bounce, the volume has stayed high. So this pretty much all but confirms a reversal. Volume precedes price action. So as this volume stays very, very high right now, price action is bound to come next. So big move, as long as this volume does stay high, a big move is coming in my personal opinion. When it breaks out of that $3.20 level, I think the stock is going to fly really quick up to $4 per share. Alright, so now talking about risk management for just a second. Because the market is so volatile, I do want to have a tight stop loss in this trade, just in case it does not play out like I think it will. So my stop loss in this trade is if it breaks below the recent lows that it made at $2.50. So if it drops below $2.50, I'm going to be cutting my loss and waiting for the next entry opportunity on this play, just for risk management, because the market could get very volatile like we're seeing right now. Alright, so that's my thesis on ENGlobal, ticker symbol ENG. And one more catalyst that this stock also does have is that the infrastructure bill is expected to pass, so that's going to help all these energy plays, all these construction plays. ENGlobal is going to be a beneficiary of that. Alright, so now looking at the next trade ideas I'm looking at this coming week are a bunch of these oversold stocks. So first off, let's take a look at the S&P 500 index, ticker symbol SPY. Take a look at some of the movement and why I think some bounces are going to come for some of these plays. And then we'll get into some specific companies that I do think will be the biggest beneficiaries if the market bounce does play out like I think it will. Alright, so taking a look at the recent chart of the S&P 500, we can see these two recent dips that we did see last month in May. Both of these dips were pretty short term, and they did bounce back pretty quickly, and there is going to be potential for this one to happen as well with this most recent dip. But the main thing I'm looking at from these dips is if you see in these gray areas on this chart, that is the after hours and pre-market sessions. So when we see these big drop-offs and the day of the reversal, we saw this big pre-market sell-off both of those days. And then when the market opened, all of the dips that did happen, they got bought up very, very quickly, and the market had a very strong reversal out of this. So what does this have to do with this current dip? So what I'm seeing right now is everybody is talking about how the market is guaranteed to drop more on Monday. Everybody's very confident that this dip does turn into an even larger dip than we're seeing right now. So with everybody saying this, one thing that I've learned trading in this market is when a trade becomes obvious, when everybody thinks the same thing, it does not happen, and the market tends to do the opposite, because believe me, the big money, they want to go against the grain because they control the market. They want to screw over the retail investors who are panic selling, and they're just going to make the market bounce very quickly back. So just a couple more examples of this. When a trade becomes obvious and everybody's talking about it, that tends not to happen. Recently, AMC to $100, everybody's talking about this. It has not happened yet, in my opinion. There's a very, very low chance of this happening. It's too obvious. So many retail investors have gotten in this trade. I do not think it's going to happen because the trade is just so obvious. Next up, recent news, Michael Burry from The Big Short having all these puts on Tesla. Everybody's calling for a Tesla crash. That trade became obvious. I'm sure a lot of people followed him buying Tesla puts. This news came out when Tesla was in the mid 500s. Right now it's already bounced back over $600. That trade became obvious. So the market tended to do the opposite of what everybody thought was going to happen, and everybody followed the big investor who was doing that. And of course it did not happen once that trade became obvious. Now, like I've been saying, everybody's talking about the market dipping more on Monday. I think that's such an obvious trade. My thesis on this and what I think could happen is we see an even larger pre-market sell-off on Monday. And then once the market opens, I think we see a big bounce back in a lot of these oversold names. So if a lot of these plays sell off very heavy in Monday's pre-market, I'm going to be looking to load up heavy in the pre-market, looking to buy a lot of these dips for the bounce that happens later that day. In my personal opinion, that's what's going to happen, what I'm going to be looking to do. Of course, it's always risky to buy these falling knives, but that can be how a lot of big money is made. Now, if the pre-market ends up not even selling off, futures are up, it's probably a trade I'm not going to look to happen unless it sells off more on Monday. But a lot of these plays are just so oversold, they're going to have to bounce either on Monday or Tuesday. And I think we could get about a 3% bounce or so in a lot of these stocks I'm going to be talking about. And the majority of these stocks, they're not big movers. Most of these are dividend paying stocks, so they don't move very much. Most of these moves day to day are 1%, 2% moves at the most. Right now we're seeing these sell off 3% some days. In the past weeks, it's been a big sell off. I think we get a 3% bounce. And since these are such small movers, options are very cheap for these plays. So I'm going to be looking to play options on some of these names where I see the potential for the biggest bounce to happen. And once again, I'm just looking to play the quick bounce on these. I'm not going to be holding these for a week. This is probably going to be a 1 to 2 day swing trade for me playing this bounce. So some ideas and the main ones that I'm watching for Monday, if they do sell off more, I'm going to be loading up on these plays. So first one, Citi Bank, ticker symbol C, down big from recent highs at $80 per share and all the way down in the mid 60s now. And with a lot of these, you can see past sell-offs. Sell-offs always have a small bounce at the least, and usually have a full bounce back in a lot of these names. Next up, JP Morgan Chase, ticker symbol JPM. Another one that's down 10% plus from recent highs, usually not a big mover. Bank of America, a very slow mover that has sold off 10% plus in the past week. Caterpillar, ticker symbol CAT, is down about 15% from highs, usually a slow mover as well. Globe Life, ticker symbol GL, another one of these slow moving stocks, down massively just in the past 2 days, massive sell off. Kraft Heinz, ticker symbol KHC. MetLife, ticker symbol MET. 3M, ticker symbol MMM. And the last one I'm watching very closely is a lot of these plays are in the Dow index. The Dow is usually the most slow moving and most consistent index. When sell-offs like this happen, dips get bought up very quickly the majority of the time. I think this dip's going to get bought up massively. This one that I'm showing on the screen is 3X, the Dow index, ticker symbol UDOW. So each move that the Dow index does make, this 3 times it. So let's say the Dow bounces back 1% on Monday. This would be moving up 3%. And once again, with these plays, they are very low beta, low implied volatility stocks. So with call options, these call options move in a huge way. Each percent that the stock does go up. So I do think we get some big gains if that sell-off does happen on Monday with these plays. Play that oversold bounce. With these, I'm looking for a 3% bounce or so, which would be huge for options. Now, of course, once again, it's always very risky to catch falling knives, which is what I'm talking about doing here. So this is what I'm doing. It's in my personal risk tolerance. I think we get some big gains out of this. It's not guaranteed, of course. Stocks can always go lower. So proceed with caution if you're ever catching a falling knife. But nothing sells off without a quick bounce in the least. So at the very least, I think we get a couple percent bounce. It could sell off more after that, or it could have a further bounce back. I'm just looking to play that quick bounce like I've been talking about. Just that very quick dead cat oversold bounce, which I'm looking to do here. Alright, so that's what I'm looking to do this upcoming week. Play those bounces. One of my favorite new swings and in the small cap world is that ticker symbol ENG with all those catalysts coming up. The chart looks great. I do think it's primed for a breakout. So that's what I'm personally doing. Of course, I'm not a financial advisor. Not every trade that I talk about is going to be successful. I have plenty of losers, so make sure to trade with your own plan. Have your own thesis behind each trade. I'm just throwing out ideas of what I'm doing. You can take that information, use it, don't use it. I really don't care. My goal with these trades, of course, is to make myself money. I'm looking to make other people money, and if a couple people follow my ideas and do make money by it, that's what I'm here to do, and that's what I would call success. So of course, proceed with caution in any trades in a volatile market. Trade smart, have your own plan behind every single trade. If you are interested in joining my private Discord chat, the link is down below. Each time I buy and sell a stock, I send an alert to the group. I answer any question you have. I send out nightly watch lists every single night for plays I'm looking to make the next day. And that link is the first link down below in the description. I hope you guys enjoyed the video. If it did provide some value to you, make sure to hit that like button and the subscribe button. It does help me out a ton, and I would greatly appreciate that. Everybody make sure to trade smart this week. It's a very volatile market. It does bring up a lot of opportunities, but it also does increase risk. So always trade with the plan. Always have your stop loss set. Always have those price targets to take profits. Don't forget to take profits, of course. And good luck to everybody this week. Let's make some money. Let's get rich.